Failure has become one of the most difficult human experiences, but what if it didn't have to be so? What if there were just two yoga techniques that you needed to practice in order to convert any failure that you have right now into a success? Wouldn't that be amazing? Hi, my name is Ashwin and I'm the Himalayan Yogi. I want to teach you today these two techniques that have helped me to convert every failure of mine into a success. The first technique is called self-esteem. Now, in yoga, we understand self-esteem to reside in the lowest chakra, which is your Mula chakra, and that's at your tailbone. So it's not easy to look into this because there's a lot of energy in between your eyes and your brain and the tailbone. But if you start to focus your mind towards the tailbone, right? You might have to close your eyes for this and clear up everything in between. Let everything else become like calm water. Still all the chakras in the way, like the one at the navel, the one at the heart, still all of these, the one at the diaphragm, just make them all still, okay? So it's a matter of keeping those body parts still. And with your breath, become calm and start focusing on your Mula or your tailbone and the associated area. So imagine a big ball at your tailbone, and that's the area of the chakra. And try to imagine a symbol for your best self there. Mine is a banyan tree. I like to imagine myself as a banyan tree. That's the best that I can imagine, because I'm going to drop more roots and more trees are going to come out of me, which is all of you learning yoga from me. So that's how I see myself, and when I see myself like that, it brings a smile to my face and it brings energy to my face, right? I have a student who sees himself as Po from Kung Fu Panda, and I have a student who sees herself as electricity. I have another student who sees herself as the galaxy, okay? So whatever is the best symbol that you can imagine for yourself, you start to imagine it at the Mula and sit there and say, this is me, this is me. And you start focusing on it. And when I feel myself as the banyan tree, I know that I just have to focus on my roots and my nourishment, and everything that I'm trying to grow or build is going to grow around me. So that's what comes to me as a symbol. So your symbol has to be significant. Take some time in making this, but every day, if you sit for 10 minutes visualizing the symbol and having the thought that this is me, this is me, this is me. When you keep saying this to yourself, you tend to recover from failures much faster, because you don't want to be stuck being something that you're not. When you're very clear who you are, when you're very clear what you are, then it's not difficult to shrug off all the negative low energy that comes from the roller coaster of failing and succeeding, and then actually make it to the point where you have some ability that you can call success, right? So the pursuit of that goal is by itself success. If you manage to kick yourself out of your sulking or your bad habit of being depressed or sad when you fail and being low when you fail, if you manage to kick yourself out of that habit itself, you are already successful, because you are going to get there. The only one who fails is the one who gives up, who stops. Okay, so don't be that person who stops. Now the second yoga technique that I want to teach you has to do with measurement. So I think to create one yoga student, I have to go through 100 failed yoga students to create one who's actually practicing yoga. So I know that when I've gone through 100 students, I'm going to get the one student who's going to sit and practice yoga the way I want them to. All right, so that's why I have thousands of students. I keep going over students really fast. I keep giving them work. Many of them say no, and I don't feel sad. I feel, okay, that's fine. If they don't, then that's fine. Say, is this my 99th failure? Then the next one's going to be a success at least. Sometimes it's not exactly 100, right? It can be 120 before I reach one success. But I'm saying an average of 100. Sometimes it's like 50 before I reach a student who's serious about yoga. So that's how I measure myself. You've got to find similar metrics and know how many more times do you have to fail before you get a success. That's what sales people do too, right? They realize, let's say that they have a 30% closing rate, then they know that if they go through 100 people, they're going to close 30 sales, right? So that means almost every third person. So they have to go through 4 or 5 failures before somebody says yes to the product. So that's how salespeople keep their morale up. So use that technique. But the yoga part of it is every time that you fail, every time a student fails, I adopt what is called Garudasana. Okay? Imagine you have 2 wings and that you're a bird, an eagle, and wrap those wings around yourself. Okay? And then take a few deep breaths. This is giving yourself a hug. All right? It's a version of the asana called Garudasana. And it switches energy between your right and left, and it simulates a great hug, which you deserve for getting one step closer to your success. And so it's just a matter of perspective. And now if you practice these methods, then you'll automatically become geared for success. You won't get punctured as often, right? You get punctured and your spirit goes low, and then you have a roller coaster of emotions. All that can be stopped if you practice these 2 techniques daily. Every time you fail, give yourself a hug for as long as you need it, and keep breathing and bring a smile to your face and say, I'm one step closer to my success. Have the metrics and say, only so many more steps to go. That's a different way to reframe your failure. Okay? Do it exactly as I've told you, and you'll get exactly the same results. Alright, thank you very much for watching. If you like this video, please share it among your networks. A lot of people need to hear this message. Wouldn't you agree? Alright, see you in my next video.